Welcome to the 5th episode of the Python tutorial series. We already spoke about sequences of elements in the previous episode when we learned about the range function. However, what if you want to create your own custom sequence of elements, maybe not just with equally spaced integer numbers, but with floats, strings, booleans, or even complex numbers? That's where today's topic comes in: tuples. Tuples are one of many ways of creating a series of elements. Tuples can be easily identified by their syntax. They are written as a series of elements separated by commas and contained between two round brackets. Let's see some examples to make it easier to understand. Let's write tuple 1 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a tuple containing only integer numbers. If we say tuple 2 equals hello world, then this is a tuple containing only strings. A tuple containing only complex numbers would look like this. For example, 8 plus 3j, 5 minus 3.2j. A tuple can also contain floats, for example 2.3, 4.7, 2.9, and 5.12. Tuple can also contain booleans, for example, so it could be true, true, false, true. Finally, a tuple can also contain a variety of elements all together, for example, a float, a string, an integer, a boolean, and a complex number, all together. As you can see, tuples can contain many different types of variables. In particular, tuples have the special property of not allowing any changes to be made to their elements. This is very useful if you want to avoid any accidental reassignments of any of the tuple's elements during a long piece of code. As a general rule, we can therefore say that tuples are good for permanently storing variables in a specific order in order to use them later in the code or to use them in another piece of code entirely. However, you may be wondering, how do I access these variables? In other words, how do I retrieve each element in order to use it after having created the tuple? This is where the second topic for today comes in: indexing. Indexing is an extremely useful tool and is actually quite simple to learn. Let's start from the basics. Each element within a series has a known index, a sort of postal address that is unique to it. However, while a postal address can often be quite complex, the index of an element is actually really simple. It's the integer value of its position from the beginning of the series, starting from 0. Let's see an example. The first element of this tuple has an index of 0. The second one has an index of 1. The third an index of 2, etc., etc. The easiest way to remember the index of an element is to subtract 1 from the way we normally count things. So the element in the nth position will have an index of n-1. Indexes also work in reverse, where the last element has an index of -1, the second to last has an index of -2, etc., etc. To extract an element from a tuple, you have to use the name of the tuple followed by a set of square brackets containing the index of the element you want to isolate. Having learnt this easy way of identifying elements within a series by their position, let's try and retrieve elements from some of the tuples we created earlier. If we say tuple 1 index 0, then that will return the first element of our tuple 1, which in this case is the number 1. If we say tuple 1 index 1, then it will return the number 2. Similarly, if we say tuple 1 index minus 1, then it will return the last value in tuple 1, which is the number 4. Similarly, if we say tuple minus 2, then it will return the second to last element in the tuple, which is 2.9. Now remember that tuple 6 has 5 elements, and that its last element has an index of 4. Therefore, if we say tuple 6 of 5, this will give us an out-of-range index error. So remember that the last element of a tuple is given by the length of the tuple minus 1. So in this case, 5 minus 1 is 4. And that will return the last number in tuple 6, which was 4 plus 3j. You can see how easy it is. Just use an element's index and you can isolate it, assign it to another variable, or use it directly. At this point, you may be asking yourself 2 questions. The first is, what if I want to change or update the elements inside a series? And the second is, what if I want to index multiple elements at the same time, maybe to isolate a group of them? Well, stay tuned because we will be answering both these questions in the next episode. So if in the meantime you have any questions, leave a comment below, and also make sure to like and share this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos.